Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we are going to be talking all about the Gold Hoarder episode with the Gold Hoarders. I have this week Regis, Stella, and GodHammer who were able to join me to talk about the Season 16, Season 17, and maybe even some stuff about Season 18. We don't know. Let's get into it, though. But before we get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They are the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast to support this content and more. In fact, if not for them, I wouldn't have been able to test out the Stream Deck Plus that I recently picked up. Subsequently, I will be returning because it just does not do what I want it to do. And it keeps fighting me on stuff. And I don't like when things fight me. Especially if I'm losing the battle. So I'm going to be returning that, but thanks to the patrons for being able to support this podcast monetarily. They don't have to, they do anyway. I don't know why, but I appreciate the heck out of it because it affords me to be able to pay for internet, pay for Adobe software, pays for the hosting of the actual podcast, and keeps ads off the podcast, to be perfectly frank. So as always, I like to thank them. The captains get access to the monthly episode, which is going to be a little bit earlier next month. This is the July episode, but you're always welcome. Doesn't matter who you are in the captain tier. If you want to come in and chat about Sea of Thieves with me, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to. You can always give your feedback on the month if you want in written form, and we can always cover it in the actual podcast as well too. So it's always just kind of an open forum for folks to be able to talk about what they like and what they dislike about what's going on in Sea of Thieves in the moment, and keep it tabs on things because I like that. And as always, I like to shout out the captains and sailors who've currently active. So thank you to A-Chick, L-Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Captain Longsharts, Chateau Neuf, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, GodHammer 6, Carl Embo of Embo Family Gaming, Kylia the Aficionado, Nightstar 1980, Elvin Vramir, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Norwegian, Rabid Raccoon, Regis Stella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Shoe Daddy 13, Skamelt 666, Tales of the Sea, The Demon Gesture, Tommy D, TN Professor, Wailing Witch, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Hager Owl, Jeff H, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Zam Wow. Thank you all so much for your love, for your support. It really does mean the world to me, and I appreciate that you do it, even though you really don't have to, and that means the world. So thank you. With that, let's get into the podcast. Welcome everyone to the July episode of the Gold Hoarder for Keelhauled podcast, where we're going to be sitting down with all of our Gold Hoarders talking about, well, not all of our Gold Hoarders. Let me be clear. It is two Gold Hoarders and myself this week. Everyone is busy. Go figure. It is summertime and folks are trying to go and enjoy the warm weather where it's warm. We're going to be sitting down and talking about kind of July in general, since the Gold Hoarders haven't had an opportunity to really dive into the community direct, as well as the latest podcast that just recently came out, which was kind of a not necessarily a rehash of what the community direct was, but more of a discussion that kind of came around after the SOT Fest. So with me, as always, Regis Stella. Regis, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's currently winter with 6 degrees here in Tassie. Just checking to see what it's like in Fahrenheit real quick.
It's like mid-30s.
44 degrees Fahrenheit.
Is it 40s? Okay.
But I got thing on there.
So definitely chilly.
Yeah, but not enough for snow, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, at least you don't have to worry about the roads in that case. But anyway, with that, we've also got GodHammer coming in. GodHammer, how you doing?
Hello, I am good. I am escaping the heat, and tomorrow it's going to feel like 37 degrees Celsius, and I wish it was 6 degrees. I'll swap you.
You just got to go down to Australia and Tasmania and New Zealand and stuff during the summertime,
Would that I could.
right? So, gentlemen, it's been an interesting July for Sea of Thieves. We've got our last update for the month for the season, and it brought in the Chest of Bones. We also got a community direct, which was focused a lot on trying to establish a better rapport with the community and let them know that, or let us know that they want to try and improve the consumer experience in Sea of Thieves. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on a lot of this. But to kind of start things off, how has season 16 been for you? And we'll start with GodHammer if you want.
All right. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy. We got ourselves first things first. We got ourselves a good, healthy hourglass week. Let alone a weekend. We got ourselves a good, healthy week, and that was great. So already good start. Then they introduced 2 really good voyages for the Reapers, along with a bevy of new commendations that are going to keep me working for a while, which I love, along with a bunch of really nice cosmetics for the Reaper's Bones. Really, really nice. They did a great job expanding that lineup of cosmetics.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so gameplay is good. Events were good.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Legends Unleashed going on right now, which I feel they've done a good job with, giving everybody gilded voyages and then giving it like a 2-parter, a 2-week 2-parter thing, which is a nice meaty little voyage. Reminder to everybody, if Logan hasn't already put it before we've started, there's the trinkets still on offer as of listening to this, or when it gets released. It still will be on offer, and all you'll have to do is turn in 3 Athena's Fortune loot pieces to the Reaper's Bones. So if you haven't done that, go out and do it. And then we had the community direct, and for the people in the UK, Sotfest, lucky dogs, got to go to that. And then we got the podcast just the other day. So I'm feeling very gruntled, I would say, completely gruntled with how things have gone so far. And it, for me personally, it hasn't been that bad. I haven't noticed a lot of like issues with the game, like not a lot. I knew we ran into a couple during the Hourglass event. That was incredible. But otherwise, I'm sort of I'm enjoying it. It's been a good season. It feels like the ship has been righted, and we're moving on to. We're moving forward.
Nice.
I feel it's good.
Very cool. So Regis, season 16 is kind of closing as we're getting closer and closer to season 17. July, as mentioned, we had some events go on. We've had an opportunity to hear from the devs and what their plans are for the future of the game. How are you feeling about Sea of Thieves in general? And is there anything that you wanted to call out with season 16 so far?
Nothing to call out for season 16, but with the community direct, like, I was like, okay, what's gonna be announced here? Is it gonna be something to do with like anything to do with like, content balancing, just, because, in case you haven't heard, there was a bit of a layoff recently with Xbox, and that it also affected Rare. So it's like, okay, this was kind of like badish timing for something like that. But for community direct, that's not some things like, say, insiders, the NDA for insiders being removed, custom servers, and also some other things like, a glimpse and look into like season 17 and 18, which I was like, wow, okay, I wasn't expecting all this to be revealed. But I guess where I heard the community outcry of like just people not getting the right amount of, people questioning like why you having a faction introduced to Sea of Thieves who already been doing like stealing and stuff like that already, kind of thing. So it was
Mhm.
nice to get some like clarification for like 17, a little bit of 18, and also some community things like a little insight of like what's going on behind the scenes with the devs, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, definitely. Makes a big difference with how people are feeling about smugglers in general when they start speaking to like what we're actually going to be getting. So
Yeah, and now we've actually seen people play the insiders for real. Like you can actually we the devs can actually see like, okay, we may want to fix this, this, and this before it gets to the main game.
yeah, which I feel like Insiders is doing a decent job of to begin with, but at least now we have the opportunity to have the discussion around, is this something that is working for the community as a whole? And I
Yeah, but the problem was with insiders before the NDA, which I'm now free to speak. You couldn't record footage. That you can only do text. You can only just say via form text what the hell happened and what needs to be fixed. Now with the NDA removed, you can actually have the footage accompanying with like, "Oh, here's the footage and how what happened," instead of like going by text and secondhand
yeah,
testimony.
you have that video aspect to reporting now that you didn't necessarily have, which is nice.
Exactly, yeah, which I'm like, yay.
You could take video and submit it to them as long as it was a private video, and
Okay.
you were submitting it through the bug report feature. Because I did that a number of times and I never got any guff for it.
Okay, fair enough.
Good to know. But now that it's all out in the open, I feel like there's a lot of people kind of going into Insiders and testing it. I haven't seen or heard of people actually streaming it, which I think was kind of interesting because that's an availability now. Which
Falco did one time. He
okay,
went to Falco did the main game servers were down. He went to Insiders to, like check on the heist fort, the redesigned Royal Crest fort, which looks bloody amazing.
yeah,
And he was like, "Do I go for the event? Do I do the event?" I'm like, and he's like, "Nah, I'll save it for the main game." Which I'm like, "Come on, you might as well play it because
well, 'cause some people
might as
don't
well
want to
do
be
test run the damn thing."
some folks don't want to get spoiled on that kind of stuff, which I think.
I that is one of the things that I wanted to ask is like, how do we want to handle that sort of thing? How do we want to handle spoiler content going forwards? Because I haven't gone in and done the heist thing. I haven't done any of the smuggler voyages. I know they're there.
I tried it, but I got sunk.
Well, so I think more to Godhammer's point is how do we talk about that without spoiling it for
Yeah.
folks?
Or
Such as
spoiler warning, skip here kind of thing.
such as like I think with the podcast, if there are story elements that Logan would like want to talk about, I feel like he should do the episode, and then after his final sign off and salutations, then we can put anything he wants to talk about in the insiders at the very end of the episode, so that nobody's scrambling and that sort of thing. Is that then we can talk about it at the very end, so that anybody who wants to just listen to the podcast as it is can just listen all the way through. Once they've reached the end, he said goodbye. Then we can jump into insiders after hours sort of deal.
So
I like that
That's
idea.
my thought.
unfortunately, I can tell you when most folks hear the sign off, that's generally when they're going to stop listening.
Right.
Which,
Okay.
as a podcaster, is not the thing you want if you still have stuff to say. You generally want to give spoiler warnings
Yeah.
and then let people decide if they want to switch off at that point. Because if they hear, all right, that's the end of the show, they'll probably stop listening.
Right.
Yeah.
So as far as like
Well-
this discussion goes, we can try to avoid talking about what's actually in Insiders, just to be respectful. We can still have a conversation about the NDA without actually disclosing anything that's in there. So yes, we can talk about it, but that doesn't necessarily mean we need to go into great detail.
I agree.
Like, you can talk around stuff. It is good that we have that opportunity, but I think that that's more for something that's like kept towards the end if folks don't want to get spoiled on the story, which was part of the whole goal of why they had the NDA in the first place.
Yeah. I do think it's good. I think if there are if there are important issues like game mechanics changes that they are thinking of changing up and altering, I think it's good to have that discussion before it goes to live instead of it hitting live and then everybody freaking out for a bit. I know it probably would have been a lot smoother sailing if the changes to the weapons that happened a while back, the end of the one-shot blunder, if we'd been able to talk about that before it hit live, then it would have been a little. I think it would have gone a little bit smoother.
Do you think they would have changed their opinion on having that go live in the way it did?
I don't know. I think they probably would have stuck to it and gone through it, but I think they would. I think they would have been able to better communicate and allied what their thoughts were going into it instead of just dropping it on folks. Because I got a feeling, if I'm remembering it correctly, I think somebody leaked it out and a bunch of people made a big stink about it before it hit live. But that sort of doesn't help the conversation when you're not playing with... When you're just relying on leaks. Leaks are a bad way to get it because you don't have the full context or the full information. And doing it this way, we'll be able to get Rare's side out of it instead of it being a one-sided screaming match at Rare sort of deal.
Yeah, there's something to be said about stuff like that getting leaked, because I feel like it's in the community's best interest at that point. Like, it's a whistleblowing moment, and if no one said anything and there was no discussion to be had, then it would have come through, and the community who didn't know what was going on would have had a lot of issues with it. Because I think that, just even finding out, like, people still don't know that there are events that go on in the game. If you've had years and years of a design element that's tied to combat, one of the most important aspects of Sea of Thieves, arguably, having that change is like trying to change, the whole double digging or double bucketing. Like, there's a shift in a time, and people are going to rail against that because the thing that they're used to is now changed without any lead up or introduction to it, without any kind of discussion to be had.
Yeah, it is that the discussion is good, as long as it's like not devolving into madness. As long as you can just sort of read between the lines of the screaming people and see what their actual point is trying to be. And sometimes that point is, there's a point, and also sometimes there's no point. They're just mad because they like to be mad, which a lot of people seem to be sometimes.
It can definitely get to that point for sure. You hope that folks are willing to have the discussion for the sake of, embettering the pool of knowledge, as it were. But that, unfortunately, is not always the case. So I think looking at what the team's looking to do with the NDA, how they're trying to have a better line of communication, and honestly just have people actually engaging with it, I think is going to be a positive for the community in general. But I'm curious, Hammer, we've talked about this in the past, and it's been kind of a sticking point for you. They haven't announced any changes or adjustments to how you earn your rewards in Insiders, and if that is going to get addressed in a way that they are going to, like, announce new new rewards as incentive for getting people into Insiders. So I'm curious if you had any thoughts as far as like the lack of change in requirements or the lack of rewards or incentives to get people into Insiders.
I do still think that having the goals tied behind seasonal renown is probably the way to go, because again, you can earn those passively, and that the things you need to do to get renown is just like sail the ship nautical miles, dig up treasure, um, defeat skeletons, that sort of thing, and you can do that while testing new features if that's your thing. As it stands right now, I've discovered the fastest way to get my insider reward is just to get the Skull of the Banished from the new Reaper voyage, because all you need to do is just get that skull, turn it in at Reapers, and you're done. So it's gone. It takes. I'm actually spending even less time in insiders now. I'm spending less than an hour in there. All I have to do is get the Reaper voyage done. I grab the Skull of the Banished. Because I'm nice, I pick up all the other loot that comes with it, and then I leave that at Reapers in case somebody happens by there. And if they are if they have stopped at Reapers, there's a pile of like Reaper treasure for them to turn in. So it'd conceivably take them even less time to earn their insider reward for that week if they stopped off at Reapers.
Too funny.
So like, I because I got curious, I went and looked at a couple of things that are coming new that they dropped in. I'm not gonna say what they are because I don't know who wants to hear it, but I did on the topic of like cosmetic things that it came in. I think at least 3 times when I was looking at the new cosmetics, I went, "That goes fully hard." And I want to use the actual words, but I can't because this is a PG podcast. But everything that I saw of the new cosmetics coming for next season, oh, I'm impressed. I am looking forward to them. The plunder pass for next season, oh, magnifique.
That's good to hear. I'm glad that people are, because I think that is also part of the thing is that when you are going to start putting in content, like I always fall back on my go-to, which is World of Warcraft, because that's the most prolific beta test I think I've ever participated in. You see all these content videos of this is what's coming in the PTR, and this is what the future of World of Warcraft is going to mean, and having stuff like that for Sea of Thieves is what I'm surprised we don't have more of. The lack of videos, like I've generally seen just kind of the initial upload of people being excited about the mega kegs and how much damage those put out. And I think that the conversation around like what's going on in Insiders has kind of waned, even though initially we were all very excited to see like what are the things that are in there and whatnot. But maybe it's my algorithm that's been playing with me, but I just haven't seen anyone trying to provide any kind of elaboration or discussion around the Insiders and what that means for Season 17.
I don't know. I don't make videos for it. All I know is I stuck 29 of those black powder barrels on my sloop just to see what would happen. And
How was space?
The damage was so fierce that I was well back on the dock at Daggertooth, and I still almost died.
That's pretty
incredible. Good. Oh, it's wild. I put one on I had one on a skeleton galleon, and it lifted it out of the water. It was great.
Oh man, I can't wait. And the fact that those are going to have those like potentially in there is just, it sounds exciting. I can't wait to see how many people are going to try and kill megalodons with kegs and rowboats and stuff. Like it's going to be fun.
Those ain't kegs, they're nukes.
Yeah, pretty close to it. Yeah. So given given that they are looking to have more discussion with the community, they've also talked about season 17 and what that means for their rollout. I'm very excited, based on the recent podcast, to talk about how they are effectively saying that they are balancing the content release, because I felt good about 15. 16, they said that they felt like it was a little bit light on its delivery. But with season 17, this is the first season that has taken into account the breakup of content across the 3 months, that they are planning on doing some good releases, and that they have events planned for it as well. We've talked a little bit about those, but overall, from a reaction standpoint, is this the future of Sea of Thieves? Like, do you feel confident that Rare will be able to stick to this cadence, given we've had so many changes in their lineup as far as like adventures, mysteries, tall tales, events, small like pop-up plunders, community weekends, things like that? Do you think that they'll be able to maintain this cadence of content with season 17 as the new baseline going forward?
Well, for all we know, it could change, like, say, 2 or 3 years from now, depending on, like, community feedback, how development of the game, development of the seasons of the game itself. But as long as they can keep a balance of, like, content and, balancing and whatnot, then hopefully they'll keep to it. But again, depends on Rare if they can actually keep if they can actually keep to their promises.
Do you think that Rare's setting themselves up for success with this plan currently?
It all depends on what happens in the future. Like, for all we know, there could be another COVID. For all we know, let's hope I don't jinx it.
Okay. I'll hand it off to Hammer. Hammer, do you think that this roadmap that they've got planned is one that is better set for success than front loading content like they used to, or the adventures that they've done in the past?
I think yes. Just it's better to have. Well, the way we all saw what happened when they front loaded their content in like season 14, 13, 15?
Yeah.
15? Yeah, 15. It did not go particularly well. Like shutting down features, having to get poor Drew dragged back out in front of everybody to apologize again. We didn't have any of that this time around, did we? With this season?
Not for this season, no. There were stability
No.
issues, but as far as I can remember, it's been
nothing that severe though.
Yeah, we've had no problems as far as them needing to shut down features like they did back in
we've definitely
October,
had
November.
worse. Yes. You give the devs time to like focus on one thing at a time, I think anybody will say it's better to eat an elephant one bite at a time than all at once, unhinging your jaw like a snake to try and tackle it in one go. So I think this will end up giving them a little bit more leeway when it comes to the big stuff they need to focus on in the first month, the second month. My train of thought is starting to devolve a little bit, but I think hard to put together coherent sentences. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go well. I think this is probably the best way for them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not switching, if they're not, it doesn't seem like they're planning on switching back to just a monthly cadence. So I think this is probably the best way to go about it. Plus, we get something every month to look forward to, which is nice.
Yeah.
And a month-long event. That sounds exciting and interesting. Because I mean, we all still talk about former events rather fondly. We talk about the adventures that come up. We talk about old, like, I talk about old Hourglass events fondly, but community weekends too. Sad we're not getting one this year, this season, but well, no, we should have got it. Boo. Come on, we could have put a weekend in there somewhere along the lines. Come on.
Yeah, I
But
blame
otherwise,
SOT Fest, honestly.
oh yeah, blame those hardworking volunteers.
Yeah,
They
if not
deserve
for
our
them
scorn.
making
We
the
would have got
event
a
in
yeah.
person, we would have been able to
How
have ours.
how dare you, Luton Liz? How dare?
So selfish, putting on all that hard work to steal the devs away from us for our community weekend.
Unbelievable. Also, congratulations on hosting a very successful SOT Fest. Sounds like everybody had fun. Congratulations, guys. Well done.
Yeah, definitely. Very sad that I didn't get to go this year, but understandably, very tough nowadays to justify traveling.
You got to go to SGF. It's fine.
That's true, but that's kind of like in my backyard, so felt like it was.
Well, you could be in North America. You could be in Northern Ontario, where neither of those are accessible.
That's okay. You have better healthcare. So far, still. So looking at the playbook for Rare going into season 17, I'm in the mindset where I feel like if they are planning to have all the content for a season ready to go towards the beginning of it, and they can then work on it a little bit by releasing it in smaller chunks throughout the season, it helps mitigate a lot of the concerns about like how impacts are, or how much impact updates are going to have on the servers and stability. I'm totally fine with this new system. I think that it's working better than what we've had in the past, which says a lot about how people felt about the game for a long time. And Drew's definitely kind of helming everything right now. There's a lot of people obviously still working on the game, but it definitely feels like Drew has kind of been leading the cause for getting more stability into the game, getting features dialed back, and getting a better cadence on content. I'm very grateful for that aspect of it. I wanted to kind of open it up though, because I know there were some other discussion topics that I think, Hammer, you had written down that you wanted to bring up, or did we cover most of them?
What do we got? We got the Devil's Roar rebalance. We've got the custom servers to talk about. Season 18. We sort of touched on season 17 a little bit. We've already touched on insiders. What do you think? Custom servers, Devil's Roar rebalance?
I think either of those are good topics. Regis, did you have a preference to one or the other?
Custom servers and how we're gonna have to pay for those, which makes sense because you want to have some monetization for like setting up your own server for your own communities, which apparently won't be the only thing you have to have that pirate subscription for anyway, as they clarified on the podcast. Well, like, okay, that's interesting.
Which aspect are you speaking to specifically?
The fact that you need a subscription to like a paid for thing for like the inside, for like not insiders, for the custom
Safer
servers
Seas
thing.
Safer Seas.
No, not Safer Seas. Don't think so.
Because that was one of the takeaways that I got from the latest.
Oh,
podcast.
Safer Seas fleets, right? That's the thing, right? I'm like, okay.
The fleet aspect of that is going to be locked behind a paywall because you're effectively getting an entire server for yourself.
Fair enough, as long as Alliance servers don't abuse the damn bloody thing.
Well, they can't. They'll be able to earn gold, but I mean they're only going to be able to progress so much in those, and they're not going to get captaincy, which is a huge driver for Alliance servers, as I understand it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, GodHammer, let's jump into custom servers. I think custom servers coming to the game is going to be really beneficial for the community. It's going to afford a lot of content creators who like to do the machinima stuff, where you're kind of creating movies or shows or stuff. I think of like Rooster Teeth with Halo back in the day. Lots of people making content using custom servers and having tools at their disposal to be able to have like creative use of the camera is going to really kind of afford us more interesting content, better storytelling. And the fact that it's tied to a paywall doesn't bother me as much, because I feel like there's going to be less abuse of those tools, more investment in the development of it, because it will be a revenue source for Rare. And if that wanes, then you'll clearly have people that are like, well, there's no point in paying for this if the devs aren't taking care of it. But I know you like to have discussions around commendations, gold, balance, things like that. What were your thoughts on custom servers when you heard about the announcement?
So when I heard about it for the first time, it's like I don't think I'd ever really thought about it enough to grasp upon like how it would be able to like facilitate all that. But I was sort of thinking in the terms of you're just having a server with the world as it is, as think of custom servers right now. And I thought if that's all you're doing, then it's like, okay, that's good, because you can get a bunch of people together. But like, you really needed I didn't think too much of it, because I'm like, well, they don't really have the tools to really affect the environment. And then they showed that off in the in the community direct, that you're going to have a host of tools available to you to mess with the world, to switch the time of day around, to lock the time of day, to bring in your own boats. And then I'm starting to understand that, like, you even with just those things, it becomes really easy to start playing around with, like, I'm thinking to recently the Bilge Rats got together and just did a charity event for the Texas floods, in which they were doing a capture the flag mode, where they had two galleons on either side of Wanderer's Refuge, and they would have to get onto the opposing side's galleon, run it across Wanderer's, and trying to get it back onto their boat. And that was fantastic. And just facilitating that kind of gaming, that kind of like free play with custom servers, where you could turn off things like, you could be in the Devil's Roar, you could turn off the geysers but leave like the volcano on, or you could turn the geysers up. You could make them more frequent. That's interesting, because the gears got to turning in my mind, and this does not happen much, because those guys are union, and they have very specific conditions to get those gears whirring. But you know what? I thank them for it every single day. And and it took me a second, but I'm like, there's really not a whole lot of things that they would have to do with custom servers to sort of bring back the arena experience. It won't exactly be the same, but if all they do is just introduce like a scoreboard that you can sort of in a rudimentary way, like, program to be like, if you get this scored into a turn-in point, you get a point, then it really does become viable to bring back that sort of arena experience inside of the custom servers sort of thing. And that's when I started to be like, okay, this makes sense. This could be a huge value add. Because if you think about, did you ever play the custom games in Warcraft 3?
Oh yeah, Tides of Blood,
back in the
Dota.
day? Yeah. So, like, if you could get it to a point where you're creating games like that inside of Sea of Thieves on the custom servers, you could end up creating just huge. You could end up having community events that we can barely fathom inside this game at this point. And just me specifically, I was thinking one of my favorite things that I ever did in the game was the very specific riddle maps for the Hoarders Hunt mystery, where you would have to find very specific points on islands to know where to go next in a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And even just having those custom servers means I could, for my crewmates, create my own little riddles and have a thing, and give them the little riddle, and I could just sit there and watch them solve it, and I could get back that feeling through the Hoarder's Hunt of those really specific riddle maps
Yeah.
that I really enjoyed out of that. And so you could do there's a lot you can do, even without like a lot of tools that they're going to give you. And I think this is going to be a huge value add. It does depend on like how much it'll cost a month. I know I'm prepared for my crew and folks in Keelhauled. I know that I'm prepared to eat some of that monthly cost to facilitate those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'll say right now.
The cost is.
I'll say right now that as long as Patreon funds keep flowing, I will be paying for a custom server through the Patreon, and I will be giving access to my mods and a select few people that I've trusted, and
nice.
That way I can go ahead and ensure that if you guys wanted to do stuff like that, it wouldn't be something that I would necessarily have to be like on for that. And if I have to, it's one of those things, like if I have to set it up, or depending on like how that works, I will be trying to facilitate stuff like that as much as possible, because I would want, and if it comes down to me, creating a secondary account that's just purely for the custom server, I'm open to that as well too.
Nice. But yes, I'm a big fan of this, of what they're planning to do with this. I know that some of it is just aspirational on what I've said, but if we talk enough about it, they can bring it in. And if it's like, it's not impossible to create a programmable scoreboard, because I know they do that in like Halo with their Forge, I think it is.
Yeah.
So like we've done it before, like Arena. It's like not like this thing hasn't existed before, so we can do it. If we can get a hold of it, that's fantastic. And us paying for it will ensure that there's that sort of like, we are paying for this. You better deliver on this thing, which I think is good for that. The cinematic camera is cool. I do think Witch had good concerns when it came to how that will work with the SOT shot, and it becoming a 2-tier sort of thing. And I don't know how they're going to make that work out, but it's something that does need to be discussed before it gets brought in. But otherwise, big fan. I think it's a great idea. I'm looking forward to. I want to bring my friends in onto Safer Seas fleets, and then you can do fun stuff like
killing each other. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just mostly that.
I feel like that's a big one. I do want to give. It's
a big one.
I want to give Regis a chance to jump in, because I know we've been talking about it. Regis, given custom servers.
He just said BRB.
Oh, did he? Oh my gosh, I just missed it. Of course. So
yeah.
Going to what you're talking about, I love the idea that we will have an opportunity to recreate Arena, especially if you can find a way to create that scoreboard. One of my biggest wishes for this is that Rare allows us to have access to the silver chests and that system function. It's something that I hope that I know the partners were pushing, and I know based on the podcast, the partners were pushing to have that be something that comes back. And I think that the custom servers would afford something like that. It could very well mean the return of something like NAL, which a lot of people were very, very big on, like having that really high upper echelon of gameplay. Rare tried to have a esports presence, like with Sea of Thieves, like they had the system there, but from a development standpoint, it was just too hard for them to continue and still give life and attention to adventure. So I'm grateful that we have this as a tool that is going to be coming. I just hope that they do what I think everyone wants us to do, or what everyone wants Rare to do, which is give us the full suite and allow us to really kind of tinker with it, because I think that's where stuff like Forge really makes a difference with the Halo community. Stuff like Starfield, you can go in and play with whatever you want with Starfield, and they encourage that kind of content creation. Regis is oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just straight up I forgot Starfield existed.
So did Bethesda. So Regis is back, and I wanted to get your thoughts. We've been kind of waxing poetic about some of the fun things that we could be doing with Sea of Thieves and custom servers, as far as like recreating arena, making videos of machinima, and with them developing this for us effectively and putting a paywall behind it to ensure that it's got value, it has focus. Are there any hopes that you have for custom servers? Is there something that you hope someone does with the custom server to be able to like bring to life that you'd have an opportunity to check out or do?
Beyond what you guys already said about like, like movies in server made events and whatnot. Just I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Just anything the community imagines. They already done it with the base games, so now they have the freedom to do it in their own way.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what folks decide to do. It's.
I mean, if the community in Sea of Thieves is creative in the base game, then they'll go ham on the custom servers, provided the price is reasonable, though.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure how long you were gone, but one of the things that we were talking about is that something that I know like content creators are probably going to work hard to make something available for their communities. They would be foolish to not try and afford them the opportunity to have access to that without having to have everyone do it themselves. Like I know that there are going to be enthusiasts out there that are willing to pay for their own server because they have multiple communities that they want to bring people into. But I'm at least hoping that most communities will allow folks to join up, and if Falcor has his own community, then he'll be able to create events for them and allow them the opportunity to create stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's a strong move for Rare because it's going to increase the longevity of the game beyond what they decide to do. Because they could stop development at any point on Sea of Thieves, but as long as there's custom servers, there's going to be people that are willing to create events and have things to do that are just on a in a way that you can't necessarily craft with just adventure, just due to how that's all built.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
You could spawn boats with the amount of supplies that you want them to have.
Yes, I would very much like to have that opportunity where you effectively recreate Arena, but with some of the new fruit that we have, having that option to be able to like say like, okay, well, we had Arena with coconuts. Let's try Arena with captaincy supplies and see where that goes.
I think the amount of potential this thing has is big.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with that, did we want to go into the conversation around the Devil's Roar and the rebalancing there?
I think it's a good move. I personally, this is me speaking. I think they went maybe just a little bit too far. I was fine with two changes, and that is the geysers no longer spawning underfoot,
Yes.
and
Holy cow.
what was the other one? The extra time to get to your boat.
Yeah.
I think those are the two. Oh no, I was fine with that. It's the volcanoes lasting less time. That was the other thing. I was fine with how much time you had to get back to your boat. Yes, the geysers underneath your foot going away, and the less time for the volcanoes. I think the other two were a little much, but that's me. I'm a little weird.
I will say you are comfortable with things being difficult. Like you definitely have no problem being like, yeah, it's difficult. That's how the game is.
You know what? That's so funny. It's the only place in life where I am happy with that.
I think it's maybe due to the challenge that comes with Sea of Thieves and having that pride of being able to have that. I see it with like oh gosh, what are they called? Dark Souls games. Like there's just a group of people. Souls, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, those kind of games are just ones where people are encouraged to embrace the difficulty, and with that, it's like Sea of Thieves has that in some cases, but not in all cases. And I think that you're one of the folks that likes that challenge and is willing to put in the time, because it's. Would you say that Sea of Thieves, for all intents and purposes, is like your main game?
Oh, absolutely! It's not even a question.
Okay.
I'm at what was it? 190 days played,
nice.
According to Xbox.
I actually don't know how much I have.
Nothing even comes close. Maybe GTA 5, but that game had you grinding to the point of insanity. Nothing else is even close to what I've got played in Sea of Thieves.
Maybe that's where the grind, the love for the grind came from. It was because you were driven to insanity.
No, I hated it in GTA. No, it was awful in GTA. Here it's great.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So I don't disagree with those choices. I was actually fine with just the geysers not appearing over or underneath your feet, and then being shorter. I was okay with the time that you had to get out of there, but in the near misses. But it being easier, I think, is the goal, to try and get people to go actually go do stuff in the Roar, especially if they're going to be expanding current content to those areas. I want people to feel like they can actually survive out there, even though it's supposed to be hard mode. I think there's a lot of people that for them it's too hard mode. Regis, how did you feel about it?
As long as it's not a pain and.
Well, I think that's
sorry.
I think that's kind of the question is do you think that with these changes that the Roar is going to be easy enough that you would want to go venture out there? Like, have they changed enough to change your mind about wanting to go out and spend time in the Roar?
Yeah, but I'll wait till like season 18 where they actually do like a upgrade and update and whatnot. This is just a balancing thing. The season 18, for what the devs have revealed thus, is going to be the whole revamp of the Roar.
So you're not even going to spend time out there now if you don't have to. You'd rather actually just wait for there to be something that's more compelling
and interesting for the for this region itself, because it's been neglected since it came out.
Okay. So I'm of the mindset that I haven't done anything out in the Roar lately. I haven't had much of a reason to go out there. I think the Reaper stuff has been the biggest thing so far, and honestly, I just haven't had the opportunity to go do anything out there yet. So, but with these changes, I'm hoping that people will maybe spend more time out there, give it an earnest opportunity to experience, because I think that atmosphere is amazing. I think it's a lot of fun to be out in the roar. It's a different whole mindset, and honestly, it's just one of these situations where it's like it was just a little too oppressive, more so than the way you feel being in the wilds for hours on end.
A-Chick and I murdered a crew that was stacking vaults out there.
Oh, really?
That was fun. Oh yeah.
Was that the other day?
Yeah, I accidentally launched her into a cannonball.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's not on you. You know, that's just
these things happen.
These things happen. Yeah. As long as at the end of the day, you know that your intentions were well intended.
I saw it coming like the moment I pressed click to launch her. I'm like, oh no. And then she just got smacked midair. It was very funny.
I did like the clip of that. That was fun. So with that, I feel like I'm looking forward to what season 18 is. It is going to be interesting to see how I feel about season 18 after we've worked through season 17, because 17 will start in August. It will go August, September, October. Season 18 should push us into the first quarter of the year, which means that season 19 would be the one that would actually hit for the next anniversary update. And I think that having a 6-month lead on this new design is going to be a good way to tell just how interesting or what they can come up with for their anniversary, because this will be the 8-year anniversary for Sea of Thieves on a 10-year journey. Any thoughts on season 18, Hammer? I know Regis had talked about looking forward to that being the reason why you go back to the Roar.
I save Molten Sands. Give that place a refresh. Give it a zhuzh.
A good zhuzhing.
Give it another pass. Yeah. Put another fort out there. Put a phantom fort out there. I don't make Ashen Reaches. They need. Okay, so here's a call out. In the Ashen Reaches, this is hyper specific and bothers mostly only me. One of the riddle maps says that one of the it's a skeleton specifically. They say that it's on the north side of the island, which is wrong because that skeleton's in the smack dab in the middle of the island, and they say it's north. Fix it. Fix it on Ashen Reaches.
I know exactly
Not
what
correct.
You're talking about, and I will agree, but also see their perspective on that, because I have looked at it and been like, that's not north. But
it's
at
not
the same
north.
time,
It's in the middle of the island.
I know, but it is. If you're sitting on the south side, it is technically north.
Why are you like this?
No, I think that's actually I know exactly which skeleton you're talking about. It is kind of dumb. There's another one on Devil's Thirst. Similar situation. Drives me wild. And the only reason I don't have a problem with it is because I've spent hours. It's kind of like why I'm okay with Old Faithful. I've spent so long there looking at stuff and being trapped there hunting stuff that I'm just like, I feel like it's Stockholm syndrome at this point. Like I'm okay with it because I'm so used to the pain. I think that's what it is. But yeah. Going forward, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Regis, did you want to bring up any topics to discuss?
No, not really.
Alrighty, glad to hear. Hopefully, we've covered it for everyone. And fortunately, we had a lot of folks out today. I know usually we have a bit of a roundtable on discussion, and hopefully there is enough of what we talked about today to satiate those who didn't make it so that their voices were heard. But as always, we always have a good discussion, and I'm glad that we got an opportunity to talk more about some of the things that Rare's doing and hear from community's side of it, because I think that their thoughts are just as important as anyone else's. Even if partners are getting like early access to this kind of discussion, it's nice to know that the community is going to be included with it. I think that will do it for us in that case. Unless there's, GodHammer, I'll toss it back to you in case there's anything else you wanted to bring up.
Yes, I've been holding on to this since the last community episode.
Oh, okay.
The one fix that you need to make for Hourglass is that you don't need to fix how much rep you get for winning. In normal hours, you just need to fix how much you get for losing, and you should make that 3/4 of what the loss allegiance is during the boosted hours, so that the loss doesn't feel as pointless, whereas the win still gives you a fairly good amount. That's all you need to do to make it feel better. You don't need to change how much you get for win. Thank you.
I respect your opinion, and I respect your right to have it. I will then say that whatever GodHammer thinks is the appropriate amount, double it. Rare. Thank you for joining me on my TED Talk. So I'm just kidding. I would like to hear some feedback on that aspect of it, because I think that there's something to be said about the loss being more painful than the win. I think a lot of folks are okay with wins. But I do think that just overall, people are not quite as happy with, I don't know, just not as happy with the overall grind, I think. As comfortable as you are with it, I think that a lot of folks are just kind of like, I don't like the grind in general. And I think that the boosted aspect of that is what they would prefer to have.
Without it as it is during standard time, the boost during Golden Glory time would not feel as important.
I could see that perspective, because I don't disagree with the logic behind it. I do think that I disagree with how it feels outside of it, which would then make me wonder how I felt if it was just the norm, if I would still have that same opinion. But until they make it the norm.
While we're on the subject, Allegiance for Guardians is boosted right now as of listening. You have until whenever Legends Unleash ends to take advantage.
Is it for Hourglass as well too? Is technically Athena?
It's what Chu or Norwegian was saying. One of those two.
Can't possibly know. Let's see. Yeah, I do know that the 10 times the 10 times on the Athena flag turn-ins for Reapers right now is wild. The value there. If I wasn't deep into a review for Grounded 2 right now, I'd probably be on seas sailing, but it's been wild to see folks turning in so much loot and getting so much gold out of it right now. All right. Well, gentlemen, I think we'll go ahead and round it out with that. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate you guys being able to come in and talk about some of this as always. If you guys would do me a favor, just kind of shout out like anything that you got going on you want to talk about or sign off with as we head out. And we'll start it off with Regis. Anything you want to shout out or say?
There's a game that I've been playing recently in the last couple of days that really has piqued my interest. It's called The Pirate Republic of Nassau. Mm-hmm. It's a VR game on the Quest systems where you get to develop the pirate experience of like building up the Republic of Nassau, like recruiting like historical pirates and their ships to your side, and just all around game. Like you can search for you can search for treasure on wrecks. You can hunt down merchant convoys. You can take passengers to go to certain ports. You can even do some trading, like to boost up your gold and whatnot. It's really interesting. The thing is, it's in early access and it's on the VR Quest systems. And if you don't like both of those things, then I'm sorry. That's not for you.
Yeah, definitely a lot harder to check those out if you don't have a MetaQuest headset at the moment. But good shout out.
Specifically, 2 are free.
Oh, for just the 2 or 3? Okay. So it's,
Yeah.
those are a little, I don't even know if they sell the 1 anymore. So hopefully folks
Yeah.
have upgraded at some point if they are in that. But definitely appreciate it because it's not something that I had heard about, even though my co-host on Xbox Expansion Pass is a huge MetaQuest fan.
Maybe we should get him to play it.
Uh,
Get him in the pirate mood.
Maybe he definitely enjoys Sea of Thieves. I think he's got like something like 190 or 100 hours into it, which is
just be aware that the game doesn't handhold you that much in the early game. You have to figure out things for yourself, like how to start training with talents and whatnot, how to optimize your best way of getting goods and whatnot. Just typical pirate stuff.
Gotcha. Well, definitely appreciate the call out. Alrighty. Well, GodHammer, as always, I'm sure you want to say hello to the Grogged crew. And was there anything in particular you wanted to say or shout out?
Yeah, typical shoutouts. Way to go. Just happy to have my crew, Rainbow Sam, Tengu, and Wailing Witch. They're my rocks. But I do also want to shout out some of the people who've invited me onto their streams recently. Blue Sky community member Katgar had me on her stream, which was really nice. And Achik has been inviting me onto her stream semi-regularly, and thank you to you both. It's been an honor to join you both and have me along.
Well, thank you.
It's very nice.
Always welcome.
Yeah.
Always appreciate the fun because it's usually a good time, whether we're trolling in chat or getting to actually sail with you. It's always nice to have you kind of out there being out there with other community members
for bloodthirsty chat.
Yeah, well, it's all fun and games when you're not the one that actually has to swing the sword. So that's just how it goes. All right. That is going to do it for this episode of the Keelhauled podcast. This was the Gold Hoarder episode for July 2025. And as always appreciate the community members that are able to make it and the ones that don't. As always, we try to do this on the last Saturday of the month where there is still presently a Monday for the release. So whatever that Monday is at the end of the month, go back to the Saturday before it. That is when we will be having the next Gold Hoarder episode, which, if I'm taking a look at the actual, oh gosh, you know what? I might actually have to do August's a bit early because August is a very busy time for me. So I'm going to call it now and say that one is probably going to have to happen on the 23rd of August for the 25th release, because there's a good chance I will be unavailable during that 30th Labor Day weekend. So with that, Pirates, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And with that, goodbye.